Hey guys, I know it's dark, so please forgive me for this. There should be a lighter place on the way, but I have a story to tell you and I don't have much time. And the thing is that I've already recorded this story before, but then something got messed up and I accidentally deleted that video before I had a chance to post it. So this is my second take, and actually it's my third take because I recorded it a long time ago, and like the devil attacked me and I got confused and I deleted that video. So you can see the devil is really fighting this story somehow, for some reason, so I have to tell it. So it's a real story. It's something that happens to me, and something a lot of people, I guess, could learn from. There's things that I learned from the story. So basically, here it goes. So this happened last year, right? Last year, I had this concert that I was preparing for, and I invited this pianist that I knew to play for me. I invited her to play for me because it's someone that I knew. It's someone that I had already cooperated with. It's someone that is experienced, So I was working with different people, But the thing is that at the time, God was elevating me, and a lot of people had problems with that. And the biggest reason for that was, the devil. The devil attacking me simply because I'm doing what I was called to do. Because God was elevating me and I was making a lot of progress in a short period of time, and the demons that were on the people that was surrounding me, they were really against it. And sadly, all these people, they don't know anything much about spirituality, about the important things, and so they fell into this, and so they started behaving really wrong towards me. And this was happening like right before that concert that I'm going to talk about. So imagine there's already a lot of chaos that's going on in my life with these people, and all I've done to these people, I was just supportive. I just was inviting them to amazing things. I was giving them a lot, and I was just being great. And people, like these demons, they couldn't take it, and there were a lot of problems. So if you're someone who's been through situations like this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I invited that pianist to play for me, and I'm always like very cooperative, and whenever I work with people, I make sure that everyone's happy and make sure I pay enough, and I actually overpay when I can, just because I can't do it, just because that's how I also express my gratitude. And people could just really appreciate it. They could just appreciate it, right, and say like thank you. That would be enough. And if we can, then we if it kind of comes together well, then we can do more things in the future, right? So that's all it is. And so that's how it was that time with that pianist too. I was very cooperative. I did pay her very well. Like, usually she probably isn't paid so much, but it doesn't even matter, you know, it's just money. But I'm just, you know, saying that, you know, I really do appreciate people that I work with. And unfortunately, yeah, people, instead of like just being grateful and doing the right thing, somehow they become like these users. They think they can use you now, so they just want to take from you. And so with this pianist, you know, it was fine. She was giving me some backward compliments a few times, which I kind of forgiven, because I was so much focused on the work. I was just so focused on the work, so I ignored it. I forgave her because at the time, like I said, there was so much chaos going on that I was kind of actually getting used to people just saying these backwards random things, you know. But that was kind of a mistake. But then again, what choice did I have, really? There wasn't much time left before the concert, so I just had to go through with it. And we went through. I was also guided by God to do that concert, right? To keep going, right? Not to stop. Not to cancel it or anything, despite, you know, the chaos that was going on around me. And that's what I did. I went through with it, despite anything. And, you know, that's what happened, you know. Like I said, I ignored those few comments and, you know, those backwards compliments that she gave me. And what those backward compliments really meant, they meant that she had demons that were working against me already at the time we were getting ready. And then on the concert day, when we had rehearsed, everything sounded so well. I was really looking forward. I was like, oh, you know, it's coming together nicer, a lot nicer than I intended. Not intended like that I imagined, right? I always intend to do the best, but you know how sometimes, you know, God surprises you with something you never imagined you could do, or, you know, you wouldn't imagine that you could do so well. So that's how it was. But then the actual performance time came, and here's where the interesting things began. So when the concert came, what the pianist did, she decided, and I then realized she was planning this the whole time. So she started playing like really loudly, and I, you know, at the time I sang classical music, so you sing without a microphone. And there's a reason we rehearsed. There is a reason we decided that it's going to be, you know, this loud. And, you know, when it's too loud, right? So even without singing, you would have been too loud, like the way she was playing. And so she wanted me to kind of trip and fall, and to sort of show everyone that, I don't know, like there's, you know, something wrong with me. You know, she wanted to kind of create this false image of me, but it didn't work. But yeah, it was kind of stressful. It was kind of hard to sing, right? Because all of a sudden you have this crazy loud pianist, right? And I even recorded that video because she was literally using strength. You can see it in her body even. She was doing that on purpose. She was like really applying strength. And the reason it didn't work, you know, well, I just had to go with it, right? I just had to sing. I couldn't stop, right? And in the spirit, I can feel that that's done against me, that that's done on purpose, that that's like pure hate that's coming out of that pianist right now. I can feel all that. Maybe, you know, she wanted to try and hide it and just pretend whatever, but you can't pretend. You know, when people feel and see the spirit, you can't pretend. You can't like live, right? So I had to, whatever, do my best, and it did not work out. Like, her plan did not work out because my voice is very high and also very bright. It has a very bright tone to it. So as a result, it still came on top of that heavy piano. So you could still hear me, like, she didn't do like any real damage, right? But she tried. That was like a real attack coming from her, and it didn't work. And so that was in the first part of the concert, and then there was a break. And during the break, I already knew what she was doing, and I remembered all those backward things that she was saying before. So I'm like, I don't even want to get into this drama. I've already had enough of people doing weird things, and you too, like, really. So I just told her, piano was too loud, so we're just gonna close the, pianoforte, like half. It's gonna be half closed in the second part, so that, it's not that loud. And that's what we did. And then in the second part, there was not enough sound for me. But then, I don't know, I was just like, I really did not pay so much attention to her. I was paying attention to the piano, but not to her energy anymore. So I don't know if that was on purpose, but whatever. Still better than what she was doing in the first part. So somehow we went through, and I really cared about the people, about what we're doing, because people came to see it, to hear it. So that's what I cared about, and I had to do my best, really, with what I had, and that's what I did. And so in the end, I didn't say anything to her, because I recorded the whole thing. So I decided, hey, I'll watch it one more time before I say something to her, before I make any accusations, right? I don't want to just say anything. And of course I watched it, and you can see, like, there's parts where she's like really angry, there's parts where she's like really applying pressure and strength when she's like, it's unnatural. Like, no one plays like that unless they're really angry, at the whole world. And that's how it sounded. And I'm sorry if she has some issues, but that's really not professional to do that during the concert, right? What do I have to do with that? So that's how it was. So then I messaged her and I said, like, why did you have to do that? That's wrong. And she was trying to pretend like she felt like there's not enough sound, so she felt there needs to be more sound. But that's so ridiculous, because I mean probably she could not come up with any other better excuse, but that's so obvious, what she was doing there. So I was like, no, I'm not taking this, so I have to sort of cut this relationship with you, because I can't have people like that in my life. And that's the truth. It's dangerous, because first she gave me those compliments, then she tried to destroy my concert. What's next she would do? It's dangerous. It's literally dangerous to have people like that in your life. So that's how I said goodbye to her. And that's the story that I wanted to tell you. So I really feel sad. Most of all, I feel sad that people do these kinds of things, because their enemy wasn't me. Like, her enemy wasn't me. Her enemy was not the world. Her enemy was, like, literally demons within her. Those demons that made her do that. Those demons that she couldn't control. Right? And no one's perfect, right? We all have our things, but it's our responsibility to do our best, right? But then again, what the story really taught me, and the reason why I was able to just go through with it without stopping, without failing, without tripping, without, anything. Because of my confidence in God. Like, literally, that's the reason. Because I felt what she was doing in the spirit right away, and I'm like, well, fine. She can't do anything because I'm with God, so I'm confident in Him 100%. He sees what's going on. He knows what's going on. So if He's allowing that to happen, well, then I have to trust. And I trusted Him. And that's how I was able to just go through with it, Because any other person in my place, they would start crying, they would start panicking, they would start stressing. They'd be like, what's happening? What's going on? Like, why are you doing this? Things like that. But I knew it in the spirit, and I trusted God. I'm like, you can't do anything to me, really. So her plan did not work out, and another sad thing is that she will have to deal with that, in her heart one day, if she hasn't yet. That can be hard to deal with such things, when you intentionally get out of your way to hurt people. It's hard as it is to deal with your guilt when you make mistakes and hurt people because of your ignorance and because of your own things. But I believe it's a lot worse when it's not just ignorance, it's even like evil intentions and purpose. To face that must be really hard. So just really hope she gets through with that. Maybe that one time will help her work her things. Then that would be great. There's probably no way for me to to be friends with her again, but if that one time helps her heal and see things, then wonderful. But yeah, before you do things like that, make sure you kind of heal before you try and ruin someone's concert, So yeah, that's my story. That's what I wanted to share with you. That's the story the devil was trying to stop for some reason. I don't know. But that's some real life story, guys. So if you ever get into a situation like that, and if you are on your purpose, if you're doing what you're called to do, then people like that will appear in your life. People will do crazy things like that, and the higher you go, the more crazy things you will start seeing, because that's the devil. The devil will just, try to stop you harder, and that's the reality. So whenever things like that happen, just trust God. Trust in Him, because He called you. If He called you, He knows what you're doing. He knows what's happening. So just trust Him, and don't give in to, those things and manipulations. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share with you. Sorry, it was so dark a lot of the time, but, I'll see you next time.